Hello, my name is John Brink, and we are podcasting on the Brink from Central British Columbia, Canada. And for all those people watching us, they say, "Oh, we know where Canada is in British Columbia on the West Coast, right?" Right, that's where we are. And then British Columbia, beautiful, big province, so beautiful, beautiful landscape, lots of forest, lots of friends, black bears, grizzly bears, deer, moose, caribou, you name it, we have them all here. Today we have a very, very special guest. His name is Gregory Thelian. Gregory is an award-winning boudoir photographer and a speaker on self-perception, who has spent more than a decade helping people reconnect with their true selves. He's also an author, has wrote a book. We'll be talking about that. Radiance is the title of the book. And so, Gregory, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Okay. I am not an author just yet. I just want to make that clear.
Okay, but you're getting close then.
I'm getting close. I'm writing a book. It's called The Problem with Self-Help.
Okay.
That's where I want to leave it right now because there's a lot going into it and I'm so excited about it. But there's so much more that I want to talk about, even just when it comes to self-perception and how this really does change everything for a lot of people, because that's what I specialize in. That's what I've been doing for a decade now.
So, and then, photographing, is it also about pictures then in the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the book is going to also be talking about how this experience, how taking your portrait can really change everything for you. But it's really about other ways on how you could do that without having to have like this whole experience, without having to go through a portrait session. And yeah.
It's just one of the elements of
one of the elements.
Right? So, yeah.
One of the elements, because when you change your self-perception, it really changes everything for you. And portrait work is one of like the best ways to do that, because you get literal evidence of this is me, this is the new me, this is who I want to become. And that alone is life-changing. I wanted to come up with a way where I could make it easier for people, where they could just do kind of like introspection work and learn more about how throughout all of history, self-perception has really been a big thing for so many people.
Yeah, including me. So
yeah, I know.
Going through it and saying, "Who am I?" has always been a question. It took me a long time to figure it out. Not saying
exactly,
that I'm anything special.
You still do bodybuilding, right?
Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah. I wrote a book about that actually. Living Young, Dying Old. I turned 85 on November the 1st. I think it was on Saturday.
Oh, wow, so, happy belated birthday.
Well, thank you. 85 years young, so.
There you go.
So the thing that I found is that people tend to be self-critical in a lot of ways about 100%. Themselves. And then it then becomes a question, how do you gain that confidence, not only in the way you look, but about a lot of other issues and a lot of other things. And some people, including me, went through part of their lives to figure out who were they or who are they. And so we'll talk about that a bit. And then the other part, somebody, including me, said, what does boudoir mean, photographing? Why don't you start with explaining to us what is boudoir?
Yeah, so right off the bat, a lot of people see boudoir, and it is for the most part kind of like an intimate type of photography. Boudoir, the word itself means kind of like the bedroom for the most part. So a lot of clients come to me to have those kind of sexy photos. They want to look more desirable. And this is both men and women. And it's kind of just like a core feeling. Yeah, exactly. It's just like a core feeling in all of us. We all long to be desirable.
Right.
And when you feel that way, that helps change your self-perception kind of like immediately, because a lot of us walk through life feeling less than desirable. So it's like once you have that, once you obtain that, you're just like, oh my God, yeah, I am desirable. I'm awesome. I'm amazing. And it just helps you live the rest of your life in a better way. But there's so much more to it when it comes to self-perception. It's so much more than just, oh, it's a sexy photo. What I do is I really tie it back to the core of who my clients really are. And that's what makes the feeling last longer. Because a lot of photographers out there could take a fantastic photo of you and you might look at it and be like, okay, yeah, I look great, but it's really the outfit that I'm wearing. It's the clothing, it's the wardrobe, it's not me. So what I do was I created an experience where it really brings it down to you. I really capture the core of who my clients actually are.
Is it also a portion of, and again, speaking from my own perspective,
Mm-hmm.
is it took me a long time to create that self-confidence that
Yeah.
I'm not better than, but just as good as. And that was
Yes.
because of circumstances that happened in my life. I was born in 1940, as you already figured out by now, probably just before the Second World War. I was born in northeastern Holland, and so we saw all the parts of war and all the challenges alongside with it. And then academically, I was not a success story. I failed grade 3, I failed grade 7 3 times. So they said to my parents, "What are you going to do with this guy?" And they said, well, some said, my parents were beautiful people. They said, well, send him to the mentally challenged school. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. So then at 12 and a half years old, they said, what are we going to do? Well, maybe teach them a trade, because
Mm-hmm.
even teachers then were not always overly sensitive to neurodiversity issues and all the things associated with that. And so they would say, John doesn't amount to much in terms of academically, and he probably becomes a good laborer. I did that too, and I was good at it, and I appreciate that. I look up to it now, but then it was kind of looked down at. And all my friends that went on to colleges and universities, and I became the laborer, but I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were liberated. It's a bit of a special week coming up for us. Remembrance Day is November the 11th. And so we were liberated by the Canadian Army, April the 12th, 1945. And it made such an impression on me as a little 5-year-old that I knew from that point forward, as I grew up, I would go to the land of my heroes, Canada. And I did. And then
That's
the
where you
other
are. Yeah.
dream that I had is I want to build a lumber mill. And I did that
Mm-hmm.
too. And but I started out with nothing, but I did not have the self-confidence. Everybody said, oh, you're so successful. I didn't feel that way. And
No.
so, no, I didn't. Until at one point I picked up a book, and the book, I still have it now, is Driven to Distraction is the title of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And that was written by Dr. Hollywell. And Dr.
Okay.
Hollywell, is a medical doctor, professor, well known throughout the world, has written 18 books, 5 on distraction. And the book was, I don't know why I picked it up in the store here. This is the actual book. I picked it up and I wrote in it, the date that I picked it up is January 1997. Dr. Hollywell wrote a book in 1993, and it's about ADHD and dyslexia. And I said, oh my God, that's me. And I wrote it in Dutch in it because it was implied that it'd be a mental disorder of some description, potentially. And not now, obviously, but in those days, I'd never even heard of it. And the more I found out about it, the more I read about it, the more I looked at Google, I came to the conclusion it's a superpower. And so, but frequency of occurrence throughout the world, much higher than I initially thought it would be. It's probably approaching 20 to 25% of the populations, male, female, around the world. And again, part of understanding who am I, as part of your journey, obviously, and working with clients, as to who are we, and saying that you are special each, and that's what I usually say in the being a presenter and doing presentations, as you are a speaker and presenter. And I do that, is saying there is only one of you in this world, and you are special, and not better than, but special. And so starting from that perspective, and then the other one in terms of self-confidence, sometimes can become an issue and a challenge. And then
100%.
the other part that I did at a fairly older age, actually, I started going to the gym, and started working out hard. And then after doing that for about a year, somebody said, "Hey, John, have you ever thought about competing?" And I said, "Me? Really?" And so I did. And so I was already 67 years old and started competing. Bodybuilding in physique, came in second, third, second in bodybuilding, third in physique, and then
That's amazing.
qualified me for the provincials, then the nationals, then the Arnolds. And again,
Yeah.
I'm working towards that now. So those are some of the things that are to do with the issues that you raised, is terms of who am I, and feeling good about who you are, and then finding ways as to how do you get there. And then that
Exactly.
self-confidence is all part of it. And so working towards that, watching videos or podcasts like ours, and interactions with people like yourself that deal with these issues all the time, obviously professionally as a boudoir photographer, but also in terms of many, many other elements. It's
It's
starting
so
to be
true.
better understood now as you go forward.
It is. And that's what I fell in love with also when it came into, like diving into podcasts and what everyone else is saying. And also kind of like all the self help that I've been doing, throughout the years, and how a lot of it failed me. And it's just getting back to that core of who am I? And what you said was super powerful, John. How you saw your ADHD as a superpower for yourself. This is where a lot of people need to get to that same point. They need to do a lot of internal work, a lot of introspection to essentially figure out what their superpowers are. What I do with my process is I help my clients figure that out for themselves, identify it, and then capture it for them. And then I show it to them in like the most amazing way possible. Because what I end up doing for my clients is I end up putting together an entire gallery for them to walk into of themselves. And when you see that face to face, you can't dismiss it. It's just so much evidence, so much proof of like all your strength, all of your worth, and it's just amazing. So like this is why, like, if you watch any of like my clients' reactions, they're breaking down in tears, they're laughing, they're going through all the emotions, because that's what makes it so powerful. It's seeing your superpowers for yourself.
And photographs
Yeah.
are very close to me. I do a lot of it, not like you, obviously. And
Yeah.
already from a young age, I couldn't afford then, even when I was in my early teens,
Mhm.
but I already started going to photographing shows and camera shows in Holland, and I didn't have really any money to speak of, and I would pick up brochures of all these cameras, and I would come out of there with a bag full of brochures, and I go through it and saying, "Oh my God, that if I ever can afford it, I want to buy these beautiful, beautiful cameras." And so that
They get
always
so expensive.
stayed with me. And I
Yeah.
probably have 20 or 30 Leicas that I have
Oh,
accumulated
amazing.
over all the years. And
That's fantastic.
but I'm not
Right.
special
Yeah.
in terms of photographing, but I do appreciate what you
Yeah.
say, is that
Hmm.
is that I've obviously being in the media and doing a lot of stuff in public and all of those things. I've had a number of times that people have taken professional photographing is special already. You go
Yeah.
beyond that in terms of who are you, and I believe, I believe very much so that that's an art and a specialty that is unique. And if you get exposed to it, including people like myself, it will change as to who you are. And just by
Yeah.
doing that, as you say, and I can
Yeah.
understand it, where you present it to them. I look behind you, I see all the photographs, but if you walk them into your studio where you show them who they are, amazing. They know
Yeah.
this person, but they have never seen that person, both primarily probably females, but also
Yeah.
males. They have not seen themselves in that fashion, and it will change them. No question about
Oh
that.
my God. Yes. You see, you get it, John. Okay. Not many people do, but you do. And I love that so much because you're 1,000% right. You know, it's when you're confronted with that true self. And this is kind of like, I equate it to like that quiet voice that's inside of all of us that's like begging to come out. For a lot of people, especially who are struggling, who haven't reached that point where they've identified what their superpowers are, or haven't reached the point where they feel good enough looking in the mirror, this helps you really see that person inside. And for a lot of my clients, it's the very first time. And I had one client, and when she was looking at her portraits, she was in tears and she kept whispering something. And I'm like, what is she saying? So like I go up to her, I'm like, Crystal, like, what are you saying? And she's like, I'm worthy. So
Yeah.
she's looking at her portraits, and you know, this poor woman, she's been through so much in like her life, you know, from like a young child to getting to this point and seeing herself. It really was the first time she saw herself. And then after that, everything changed for her.
Yeah.
She got out of the bad relationship that she was in. She lives on her own terms, and she got like a new job and everything. And she's actually living happy
Yeah.
because she knows her true worth, her true value. And it's because somebody had to show that to her. And I'm just like so honored that I get to show that to people. You know, I
Yes.
help people reconnect with that inner voice.
Yes. And I do the same in terms of, in doing presentations, doing it on my podcasting, is
Yeah.
saying that, being very open about it. Who am I? What did I go through? Not that it is special, but saying that growing up in northeastern Holland during the war years, where things were difficult, nothing to eat, and then seeing people dragged out of their houses, never to come back, and being dead bodies, all those things that are not good and healthy
Yeah.
for a little boy, less than 5 years
Healthy for
old,
anyone at any age,
at any
you know?
age. And then,
Yeah.
being
Horrible.
told in the school system that, the just not quite good enough for that part, and saying that, how do you go from there? And some people get stuck there, even into
Yeah.
the later years. Add to that, and obviously, I'm very delighted about it that neurodiversity issues have become more acceptable, although we're not doing
Exactly.
quite as much about it in the schooling system as we can and should. But it's not
Yeah.
anymore looked at as a mental deficiency.
Yeah.
And in fact, but I say it can be a superpower, because we're all
It can be.
uniquely different, and so that again is then gaining that confidence that you just as good as the others, not better than, but just as good. That then gives you
Exactly.
that confidence and makes you go forward, and it opens doors. Like for me, I was already in my 60s, so when I started going to the gym, and then
Mhm.
doing that, then from there and then became an author. I'm working on my sixth book. A lot of people said to me over all the years, that, hey, John, you had such an interesting life, you should write a book about it. And so I tried for 20 years, tried to write a book, and then finally, about 6 years, 7 years ago, I said, if I don't do it now, it will never happen. So I wrote this one,
There
Against
you
All
go.
Odds. And it's not about how
Amazing.
successful John is, but rather going through all the ups and
It's
downs.
going through all of it. And
Exactly.
that's what a lot of people don't realize is you're just going through it right now, you know? And it's really how you see yourself is going to determine whether you stay at that level or whether you rise above it all. Because so many people have been through so much worse. Everything you went through growing up, I never experienced anything like that. And it's like, oh, I have problems with my self image, but that weighs me down almost as much.
Yeah.
Even though I never experienced anything like you have, you know, anything through like the Holocaust or anything like that. It's insanely tragic. But you realize that if somebody like you could get through that, I could get through this. Like everything, like all my problems are not necessarily like you compare yourself to others and it's like, oh, because they went through worse, like my problems don't matter. But it's saying my problems do matter. They matter to me. how do I overcome it? People could overcome much more, much worse. How do I overcome this? Figuring that out. And it's like, how do I see myself? Do I see myself as a victim, or do I see myself as a victor? Do I see myself as coming stronger out of everything that has happened to me in the past? And
Exactly.
I love being able to do that through photography, of like all things, being able to like put together like a fun photo shoot to help people overcome this, to help people see themselves in a new way and
How
change their
rewarding.
destination. It's amazing. Oh, sorry about
So,
that.
no worries about it. It's all part of the show. So so take us back, Gregory, to
Yeah.
how did this all start? Where did you come from the area? What was
Yeah.
your background? How did you come to eventually then becoming a boudoir recognized
Yeah.
one, a photographer in demand? How did you go through the period?
Oof. Oh, John, do we have the time for this? Oh my God.
Yes, we
Hold on
do.
one
Yeah.
second. Bear with me. I think my camera just went out. You there, John? All right.
Yeah. It's not a problem.
Okay. So, yes, it has been an insane journey for me. Okay. So,
Okay.
I started off actually doing graphic and web design. That was the first business that I started. I didn't really want to work for other people. I always wanted to do things on my own. But when it came to graphic and web design, I kind of hated the clients. A lot of my clients were doctors, and a lot of them would essentially just change the designs that I created for them completely, break their websites, but I had to give them what they wanted. So at the time, I bought an expensive camera, and my wife was telling me, like, either learn how to use this thing or just sell it, get some of your money back. So I
What did you
started
buy?
using it. So at the time, it was a Canon T2i.
Okay.
Okay. And it was like what is it? Crop sensor camera, but like at the time, it was pretty expensive. It was like
Right.
at least like $1,000 when I bought it.
Right.
And I was so excited for it. I didn't use it, and my wife beat me up for not using it. So I started putting it to use.
$7,000, Grady. Come on. What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
So as soon as I started changing the lens on it, I was just like, oh my God, I'm actually taking good looking photos. And then I started shooting everything. Like boudoir was never like in my mind at the time. So it's like I started shooting sports, but I'm in America, I'm in New York, and I love playing handball, so wall ball.
Yeah.
And there's no money being made in photographing that, sadly.
No.
It's very much like just a street sport, but I loved it so much. I did product photography. I did food photography. I did weddings. Weddings are just such a headache for me. It's just too many moving parts. So I couldn't get into weddings. When my first daughter was born, I tried infant photography. And I don't know how these photographers handle infants all the time. It is just insane photography wise, and nothing was doing it for me until I discovered boudoir photography. And with boudoir photography, I learned that people were saying how it's life changing.
How did you discover it? Because
I was just
everybody is not kind
searching.
of looking around and saying, I want to be a
No,
boudoir. So
neither was I.
Yeah.
I just came up through like all like the photography forums that I was in. I saw a boot camp workshop for it. I was like, let me sign up for this. Let me see if I get into it. And that was in like Seattle. And thankfully I was accepted for it. It was free. So it was like a free week-long boot camp.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this is like fantastic. So after doing that, and it was funny too, because the instructor of it, Jen Rosenbaum, she's also in New York. And after like seeing like the portraits I took during the boot camp, she's like, I can't let you go back to New York. Like, you're too good. And I'm just like, I'm like, okay, thank you. But she was such an amazing instructor, so fantastic. Everything she's doing right now is amazing too, because she's really like a champion for like breast cancer awareness. And I'm just so proud of her and all the work that she's doing. But once I learned that it really can be life changing, I also discovered that a lot of boudoir photographers, especially men, were taking advantage of their clients and they were doing the wrong things. A lot of them just run their business like a mill, and it lost that effect that I was sold on. So I spent like the past 10 years trying to figure out a system and create an experience where it truly is getting like consistent results where maybe it's not life changing all the time for my clients, but it's definitely deeply impactful for them. But I try to hit life changing as much as I can. And the past few years, it's been pretty consistent with a lot of my clients. It all depends on them. But once I started doing this, I just couldn't do anything else, because I get to be creative. I get to have fun and I get to create amazing artwork and I get to make people feel better about themselves. And it's truly making an impact on their lives. And that's why I just can't do anything but this. I mean, it's just been such a blessing for everyone involved.
So the clients that you attract are the ones that already have a form of confidence or successful in some form of fashion where the image of the person are becoming very, very important. And rather than just taking a picture, you're telling a story about the person in the pictures that they
It's
have,
true.
not only to them, but also to others.
So here's the thing. It really is that like deeply personal story for my clients. And this is also where I kind of struggled with it a little bit because everyone looks at my portraits and they're just like, oh, wow, like they look great and everything. But it's like, yeah, but this means everything to that client. It's like, this means everything to Crystal, to Helena, to Sasha, to whoever's in front of my camera. Like it's more than just a pretty picture. So that's why I'm doing like all these podcasts. That's why I'm trying to get the message out as much as I can because yeah, it looks good. A lot of people feel like they can't do it. Anybody could do this. It's just lighting, hair, and makeup make you look amazing. But once you feel amazing, like the entire process that I put together really helps identify your essence. And then we capture that. And then when you see it displayed in this way, like this is what makes it all connect and really makes it last. So yeah, I might have gotten a little bit off topic for your question, but
No,
yeah,
that's what the whole purpose is of the podcast. Obviously, is
yeah,
that
and it's just
so
having the conversation.
exactly, and then saying that you then develop the reputation, Gregory, Chilean, so that that's the person I want to have to take my pictures of me in whatever setting. And so,
Yeah.
and then when does boudoir does not suggest in a way that it is not nude, obviously, but the revealing to a certain extent is more so than not anything else. The objective of boudoir is not necessarily to make somebody attractive but make them feel good and at the same time show them in a different way. Is that the objective?
Exactly. So it's really helping my clients capture what makes them attractive.
Right.
Okay. It could be lingerie. It could even be nude, like fine art nude photography. It's whatever my clients are comfortable with. There's no set wardrobe that anyone has to do with this. I do glamour work. I do dresses and make people look amazing. I make people look amazing in just like a t-shirt and whatever they're comfortable wearing. But what I actually have learned for doing this for so long is the less you wear, the less excuses you have when you're looking at your portraits. And what I mean by that is sometimes you might have like an amazing photo of yourself and you might say, oh my God, I look great, but it was really the dress. It was really the makeup. It was really this, that, or the other thing. All those negative self-thoughts come back into play and the process wasn't done right. But when you're doing like fine art nude photography, there's literally nothing to hide behind. It is 1,000% you. And that's where the beauty in that is. But that's not for everybody. It's whatever your comfort level is. And once again, deep down, most people, they really just want to feel desirable. They want to feel attractive. And that's where boudoir plays an even bigger play than any other type of portrait work because it's specifically designed to make you look and feel sexy, desirable, amazing, beautiful. And what I do is take it just one step further than that, where instead of I'm making you look, sexy and desirable to everyone else, I'm having you see that for yourself. So one of my favorite quotes is that beauty is simply reality seen through the eyes of love. So what I do is I help my clients see themselves through eyes of love, as opposed to, you know, eyes of hate, eyes of putting yourself down constantly, of all of this, that we see, like all this negative self-talk. And I help people overcome that part so that that helps them throughout their entire life, not just, oh my God, I looked amazing during like this one photo shoot. It's like, no, this is what builds up your confidence. This is what keeps you driving. This is what makes you overcome everything that you overcame, John, and realize what your true worth is, what you're really here to do. Realize that all of your flaws are actually superpowers. It might seem like a flaw to somebody else, but there are ways to use every disadvantage as an advantage. And yeah, I help people figure that out for themselves, help people see that physically. And it's just amazing.
And then starting from that, I do doing presentations that I do in front of young people, either they are high schools or they are college or university for that matter, or anybody is saying that, the greatest thing is people tend to be negative about themselves and about a lot of other things in a lot of cases. Not me. Like every day to me is a special day, especially at 85, I guess, but I've always been like that. For me, it has always been, I have this plaque here that my employees gave to me when I came to Canada in July of 1965. I wanted to start with nothing. So I had a suitcase, I had 3 books, 2 sets of clothes, and then I counted my money at least 3 times. I had $25.47. Couldn't speak the language, didn't know a soul, didn't have a job. But I was going to build a lumber mill. But they added what I had, which has always been foundationally important, even through all the bad stuff, even in the school when I failed grade 7 for the 3rd time. In my little world on my own, I always was positive that I was just as smart as anybody else. Not better than, but as smart. So for me, it has been attitude. Don't come close to me if you're going to be negative. It's important to me. Then passion. Whatever I do, I give it 125% on all the things that I do. And then work ethic. And I still do that, but will follow is success. And if it's work ethic, I still do that. Even today, I usually get up at 5:30 in the morning. I always make my bed and I always think I'm late. And then the first thing that I do when I go outside, I said, it's paradise. It is. I am such a fortunate individual to live here in this North America, in Canada, or the United States. We do a lot of business in the United States. We have a lot of friends in the United States. And so, but I've always looked at it that way, and then everything is possible. Stay the course, don't give up. And then the other part that is important to me when I give presentations is that I find a lot of times precisely what you're talking about, and is your objective, obviously. A lot of young people say, or middle-aged, or for that matter, in some cases older people are saying to themselves, this is not right about me, this is not right about me, I'm this, that, or the other thing, what I'm wearing is not right, blah, blah, blah. I said, there is only one of you in this world, and you are special. And so, and then hopefully in the process, build that confidence in terms of who am I? And by watching podcasts like this one and other things that you do in terms of photographing and boudoir, and the importance of pictures alone of who you are, will be life-changing to a lot of people as well. And but first and foremost, you must get to the point that you are special. Try to be positive, approach things in a positive way, and at the same time, look at opportunities and understanding what makes it work for you in particular, and who am I is very, very important.
It's super important. And yeah, everyone is very negative about themselves because there's a lot of negative stuff going on. And you see a lot of positive stuff going on that you keep comparing yourself to, and that just brings you makes you bring yourself down. It's like, why am I not there? Why am I not at this point? And a lot of it is just because you're thinking negatively. You need to have a better self perception. You need to know exactly who you are, what your purpose is, and go after it. And a lot of people can't. A lot of people struggle with it. I struggled with it. It took me a while to figure out what my purpose was, because I always just wanted to create. I loved doing film. I loved doing clay animation when I was much younger. And that's what I thought I was going to be doing. I never in a million years thought I would be a boudoir photographer. I never thought I would be making an impact on people's lives through my artwork. And that is just fantastic. And I want to help as many people as I can figure that out for themselves. Because,
on the other hand, Gregory,
yeah,
that your initial education in arts and doing all these other things became a foundation for what you're doing today. So it was
did.
maybe not helpful at the time because you didn't
Oh, no, it
enjoy
was super helpful. Yeah. Like
that
at the
became
time,
the
I thought I was going in
foundation.
one way.
Yeah.
Exactly. All of it. And that's what a lot of people need to realize is that everything that you've been through, like, listen, I could beat myself up and be like, oh my God, you dropped out of college. We actually share something in common because I failed seventh grade also. I failed earth science and I had to take earth science again. But once again, like, I feel like I do have ADHD in a certain degree. And at the time, when I was in school, I just couldn't keep track of everything. And the teacher wasn't teaching properly. But regardless of that,
Yeah.
I could put all those things into a negative light and be like, all these things held me back. They served no purpose. Or I could look at it as a positive note and be like, this shined more light on who I actually am. So it did that. Or this led me in the direction that I'm in today. And yeah, it's really difficult for people to find that positivity.
But
And that's why I feel like what we're doing, what a lot of people are doing in like the self-help industry, what a lot of people are doing on like podcasts, is helping people realize that positive light, that it is there,
exactly.
because you're not getting it from the news.
No.
You're just not.
And that's what is happening to podcasting is where with the news, CNNs, the ABC, and then in Canada, CBC and BBC and all of the world, the viewers are going down further and further and further for all the reasons that we know. And the same is happening with the newspapers. And what is evolving is podcasting. And it has huge, huge potential around the world. Like we podcast with people we may have somebody from Australia today. Tomorrow we may have somebody from the Philippines, and then the next thing's from Athens and Greece. God only knows what. And then the way I do
You
it
reach
is
the entire world. You reach the entire world doing it this way.
on all kinds of subjects.
Yeah.
And I like that part. So what I do, especially in ours, is that I podcast mine. I do not edit it. It is what it is. And then I release it within 2 hours. And so you are my podcast number 488. Where I'm
488. Nice.
Yeah, it's getting close to 500. And then I've done about 200 where I'm guest on others. And I just over my shoulder, you can see my 1 million subscribers.
It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, so I enjoy it. I like it.
Yeah.
So
and that's the thing. You enjoy what you do. You enjoy doing all this. You enjoy putting all this together for everybody to help make them better. And that's what the world is supposed to be, right?
Exactly.
We're supposed to lift each other up. So why do we spend so much time putting other people down and putting ourselves down?
Exactly.
It's madness, in my opinion. But yeah.
So let's talk about this a little bit in terms of how do people contact you? And the other question that follows that is saying, okay, Gregory, hypothetically speaking, not necessarily hypothetically, I want you to do photographs of me and doing all the artwork. How do I go about doing that? Do I have to go to New York?
Okay, so I'm actually in the position now where I travel to people. So I can be international. I haven't had international yet. I've had out of state. However, I'm so into it. If anybody from Canada who is watching this now wants to have this experience, I would love to build it out for them and make it possible. How to contact me, you just go to gregoryjamesphotography.com. Or if you want to make that shorter, because I know it's a lot to type in, you can go to gregoryjames.photo. and that works too. That gets you to the same place. All my contact information is there. You could join the wait list so that as soon as spots are available, you get notified. You could also contact me. You could book a phone call with me as well through the website. But what I do is actually a 3-day experience for my clients. So this is like the biggest experience that I offer. And what it is day one, which is the in-person consultation and a process that I call the personality reveal. And this is where we do that deep dive to help you really get to the core of who you are and even go deeper to help you uncover the essence of what really makes you you. Day 2 is your actual portrait session. So this is where you get full hair, makeup, everything done to the nines. And this is just a massive fun play day for my clients because everything that we uncover in day 1, this is now the chance for them to embody all of that and live it fully. And that's what I want to capture for everybody. And that could look like whatever it looks like to you. You know, it doesn't have to be lingerie. It doesn't have to be fine art nude. It's whatever makes you you. That's what I want to capture for people. And then the third day is the private photo exhibition. So this is where we bring you back after like a week or so, and we set up an entire gallery for you to walk into. And again, doing it on that scale is what makes it all click. It's what makes it all impactful, and it's what makes it all permanent moving forward. So it's like these aren't just photos that my clients are getting, it's evidence of everything that they are. And it also serves as kind of like a totem that they could reflect on in the future. So they could look back at these portraits and feel those feelings again. And that's like mirror neurons, that's neurological stuff at play right there. But, you know, like it really has that effect on people. And that's what I love doing for my clients. It's on a much bigger scale than most people think. You know, once they hear photographer, they're just like, okay, it's going to be like a 1-hour thing. I might get digitals afterwards. That's not how I do it. I do it on the extreme because that's what it takes to make that impact.
So that then being said, I would conclude from that that it likely, if I said I would want to do that, hypothetically speaking, then I said, no, it is so life-changing and so important that best for me would be to fly to New York. It's not a big deal, you know, and then say, okay, do what you need to do or want to do to get me the results. Do it in your setting, because everything that you have is all around you, because it is that critically important. This is not just, as you said, take a, oh, I stand there, blah, 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 goodbye. No, it's far beyond.
Exactly.
It likely is life-changing for people that feel, and a lot of them should, in a way, at least appreciate what it can do and what it will do. It does not necessarily mean that people financially can afford to do this, but having something done in that fashion, look at your websites and look what you're doing, at least get a feeling of what elements will are available to them to create that self-confidence.
Exactly. And for everybody who can't do the whole 3-day experience, I just want them to realize that A, it is an investment in yourself and you get back so much more than what you put into it. But also, it's okay if now's not the right time. I get clients who have been following me for years, and then they come back to me and they're just like, oh my God, like now is the time. I need this right now. I have everything ready. Let's get going. And I just booked a client fairly recently who I felt really bad for, not necessarily bad for her. I just felt for her because when she had like her first experience, when she did this the first time with me, she wasn't able to afford a lot of her portraits. She was only able to afford just one. Okay. I didn't, you know, put any like bad energy on that. I was completely fine with that. You know, it was whatever she could get at the time. And we just talked a week ago. And she's like, I know we left on bad terms. I'm like, there were no bad terms. Like everything was fine. And she told me now, she's like, everything has changed for her now. She wants to do this fully and she's fully invested in it. She paid for everything up front. I can't wait to get her started on her session and everything. And it's just amazing how like it works that way. And it's completely fine. So like when the right time, what's the phrase? What's the saying again? Like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear type of a thing. So it's like, when you are fully ready to hear everything that I have to say, when you're fully ready to experience this process that I've created, I'm here for you.
So, with the changes that are happening now in the world, so like, at 85, I've obviously have seen it all, going from, I still remember in northeastern Holland that we had the first television in our little community. And so everybody went down there, and my God, there was a television. It snowed, but you could say, well, there is a buddy, and there, oh my God, it's amazing. So,
Yeah.
and then obviously the next things were our early 80s, late 70s, when computers, technology in a way was evolving, and we saw all of that, and it changed the world. The next thing, obviously, is then podcasting, cell phones. And, when I first came to Canada, I sent telegrams to my parents, and everything is okay. I found a job and I'm working. I get $2 an hour, and I'm all excited, blah, blah, blah. And so it would take days to get it to them and get something back. Now I pick up the cell phone, push the button, and talk to anybody I want to talk to around the world.
Yeah. It's
Add
amazing.
to that another evolution, AI, artificial intelligence.
Yep.
How does changes in technology and all the things around it affect your business?
So here's the thing that I'm so happy that you kind of touched on this, because this literally came up with a client about 2 years ago. So she was really into playing with AI at the time. Like AI is just kind of starting up. So she's creating like all these AI images of herself and everything. And honestly, they were looking good. They were looking really good. It looked just like her, really nice backgrounds, and everything was looking fantastic. And I was starting to worry a little bit, because her photo shoot was coming up. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, is she even going to like what I put together? Because this is like insanely good. She absolutely loved everything that I put together for her for several reasons. One, mainly, it's her. It's not artificial intelligence. So it's like with these AI photos that we might create of ourselves, there's something missing from it. And it's like, listen, I would love to get all poetic on you and be like, it's missing the soul. It's not like the actual print and everything like that, but it's missing reality. That's what's missing from like these AI images. So there's really no connection to it. However, when I took her portraits, it's connecting to that entire experience that I built out for her. So it's building in all of those feelings, all those emotions, where if you just generate an AI image of yourself in like 2 seconds, there's no emotion there. There's nothing there for it. It might look good, but it's very flat and it's very unfulfilling. Doing this, she was so thrilled with everything. I think she ended up buying all of her portraits. If not, she got like the medium package. But we did some like really creative stuff that AI would have never even thought of to do for her. We created like this whole duality shoot, because she talked about how she has like these 2 different sides to herself. And I just did it with like a double exposure in camera and everything. And we just lit it in such a beautiful way. That was actually a fine art nude that we did of hers. And she was just so proud of it. She was so proud of that moment because of all the emotion that's put into it. And you might, like, a lot of people realize this already. Like, if you have like an old print, even if it's of a loved one who might not be here anymore, you have all that emotion baked into it. You have all those memories that come about just from seeing this portrait. And that's what actual photography does. That's what real photography does. That's when you get like the actual prints. That's what really matters. That's what makes you connect with it. Doing it through AI, I mean, listen, AI is making a lot of things easier, but it's also making a lot of things trash. There's just so much slop that's been put out thanks to AI. So it's like, it has its pluses, it has its minuses. It's the same with all technology. It's just a tool. It's up to the user how it's used, whether it's used for good or slop.
It will not change what you do. in
No.
terms of the ultimate special, saying, I like what Gregory Thelian is doing. I love it what he's doing, because the foundation that is underneath you, that worked up to showing you a passion for what you do, ultimately cannot be duplicated through AI. That is not possible. At the same
No,
time,
it's not.
saying that it becomes interesting outside of AI, but just focusing on media
Mhm.
as we know it and see it today, including movies have changed. It's not anymore the way it used to be, Hollywood
No.
being Hollywood. It isn't anymore. So it's now, what is happening is different. It makes me wonder to a certain extent, where will it go from here? What will it look like? But it always will need individuals that are special, like you are in your field. I hope I am in the things that I do, and including what we are doing on podcasting globally, because it has not even, it's at the beginning. It will explode, because all the things that you do are global things. It's not limited to the United States, to New York, not only
Not at
to
all.
North America. It is global issues that are special, and
Yeah.
that you will find clients from all over the world coming to you in New York to have that once in a lifetime experience, like the lady that you talked about earlier, that had already done, had exposure, knew what it would mean to her, but she at the time was not ready for it. Now, appreciating what it will do, she did it again,
Yeah.
and it has been have an amazing effect on her. That makes what you do special. I hope some of the things that I do are special in that world, that cannot be duplicated by AI, because it requires that foundation underneath it, all the trauma, all the challenges, all the difficult time, as you claw your way up towards
Yes.
still surviving.
Yeah.
It then makes you an individual, and we see that in males and females that are unique in what they
And
are
this is what
doing.
you were saying before, John. You are special.
Right.
And it's just realizing that. And it's realizing how you're special. Okay. And then once you have that narrowed down, once you figure that out, that changes everything for you. Because now you have a purpose. Now you have a reason. You have this new knowledge that was never there. And I just want to quickly say, like you question like where's AI going to go? Here's where I feel like it's going to go. Okay? I feel like so much stuff is going to be pushed out on all of us and everyone is going to be getting sick of all this automated slop that's coming our way. And where I feel like everyone is going to go is towards more authentic experiences. Things like this, conversations, people crave this. And it's a little bit of a shame that we have to actually go to the internet to have conversations like this, where back in the day, before the internet, I remember those days, you just talked to people. You had these conversations face to face, had these sitting down with your friends and your family members. And that's how things became uncovered, resolved, and all of that good stuff. But I feel like we really lost touch with that. AI is going to make it even further out. It's going to like push that distance, like that gap of authenticity even more, that everyone is going to crave this so much more. So I
But
think both of us are in a good position where we are because we are like champions of authenticity. And yeah,
and can you imagine, Gregory? You are in New York.
yeah.
I'm in
You're in
central.
Canada.
And I'm in
Yeah.
central British Columbia,
Yeah.
and so I never met you before.
Nope.
And I saw a slight bio, and we covered a lot of ground, and we
Yeah.
know that millions of people around the world, I believe, will be watching us, or potentially can watch us, and
Mm-hmm.
that is just becoming bigger. And so what we are missing in the way that years and years ago, what we used to do is sit down with friends or meet people in places and over dinner or got together in groups of some sort. That has changed and disappeared because of a number of reasons. But podcasting still has that ability and of having interesting individuals get together in a discussion on topics that they are doing a special in and
passionate about
the rest of the world. And then on the other part that is important to me is to share with others challenges that I've gone through, and hopefully that will be helpful to others, and hopefully will be an inspiration to others as they are with you and with me. And that I believe is podcasting.
I 1000% agree with that, even though I know I say that a lot about everything you've been saying today, John. I don't know how many thousands of percentages I have agreed with you today, but I know it's a lot. And I mean, like, this is what people actually crave. They crave these types of conversations. And my advice for everyone listening, watching, start doing that for yourself. Start having these conversations with people. And what we're doing today is deeply amazing because we are complete strangers. I never met you, you never met me. And look, we had this amazing conversation. And what's not happening in the outside world?
Gregory, we are friends now.
Yes, exactly. And this is what a lot of people aren't doing. They're not making friends with strangers anymore. Everything is just us versus them, which is horrible. You know, it's not that. It's not that at all. So this is an amazing outlet to solve that. And that's why I love doing these.
I do too.
And you're amazing offering this and doing this for as long as you have been, everything you've been through, John, and just your entire demeanor. And like, this is just awesome. I love this so much. I could do this all day.
So for all the people watching us, myself and Gregory has podcasting as well. He's going to write a book, but you can reach him if you want to know about him. Say it again, Gregory Thelian.
It's Gregory James Photography. So GregoryJamesPhotography.com, because my full name is Gregory James Thelian, and that's where the James comes from. It's my middle name. But you could also go to GregoryJames.photo if you don't want to type in as much. And you could find me on Instagram at GregoryJames.photo as well. And I'm here to talk to all of you guys. I'm here to listen, and I'm here to show you the absolute best version of yourself. That's what I do. I love doing that for all of my clients, and I would love to do that for absolutely everyone who is listening.
And also for the people who are listening, subscribe to James's podcast as well as mine. Share it with others. Like it if you like it. Give us, because that will stimulate to do more of these type of podcasts that Gregory is doing, that I'm doing. And it's important to have that support. Send us messages with comments on it if you wish. This podcast, Gregory, will be released unedited. It is what it is, and that's what I do with all my podcasts. It will be released within 2 hours.
Awesome. I love that so much. That is such a fantastic way to do this. I've never seen anyone else do that. Normally, I'm like waiting for it to be edited and everything. So I love this so much, John.
It is what it is.
Thank you.
Gregory,
and honestly, this was great, even with all the hiccups.
It's a pleasure and a privilege. We'll stay in touch, Gregory.
Thank you so much, John, and the pleasure's all mine.
Take care.
Enjoy your day.
Bye-bye.